Hi, and welcome to the 10th video in the Coronavirus and Capitalism video series. It's been quite the journey. We've covered many important topics related to economics. In this video, we're going to look at how the government is involved in our system of capitalism. The first thing to point out is that the government makes capitalism possible. In Part 3, I described capitalism as being an economic system distinguished by the private ownership of the means of production. I think this gets overlooked, but it's the government that protects private property rights, and in some ways gives private property rights where none would exist without government, like the protection of copyrights, trademarks, and patents. Without the government, Daryl can say he has the right to private property, but Johnny doesn't have to agree or respect that. Because the government protects property rights, capitalism is possible. Similarly, the government facilitates the existence of a market. By keeping order and protecting private property, the conditions exist for people to engage in voluntary exchange. As I described in Part 2 of this series, the free market provides for most things people need and want. However, sometimes the market does not. Market failure is a situation in which the market does not distribute resources efficiently. There are lots of reasons why market failure can occur, but we'll look at just a few examples. In capitalism, people and businesses are motivated to engage in economic activity because they are seeking to profit from it. This means businesses only provide goods and services that are profitable. For example, there are numerous products that treat allergies because many people want to buy allergy medication. But there are no medicines that treat more serious health problems because the diseases are so rare, and so there would be few customers for the treatment. In these cases, there are people with a need, yet no market to meet their need because it is not profitable to do so. In response, the government passed the Orphan Drug Act of 1983, which gives businesses money and other incentives to develop medicines for rare diseases. Another example of the government giving subsidies or tax breaks to businesses in response to market failure is that in 2015, the US government gave $649 billion to coal, oil, and gas companies to encourage them to keep supply high and prices low. Other times, when businesses do not provide a good or service people need or want, the government directly provides the good or service. These public goods can be things like schools, parks, water service, a sewer system, roads, libraries, police and fire departments, and the military. Public goods are obviously good for people, and they are non-excludable, meaning everyone has the right to use them. And they are non-rivalrous because one person using the public good does not reduce its availability for others. The reason the government provides public goods is because the market typically fails to. Public goods are beneficial for people, but they are also important for businesses, such as businesses using government-made roads to ship their goods around the country, and the police protect their stores from theft. In economics terminology, these services the government provides are in the public sector, which is the part of the economy that is run by the government. This is contrasted with the private sector, which is the part of the economy controlled by individuals and businesses. Externalities are another example of the existence of market failure. Externalities are economic side effects of producing goods and services. They create benefits or costs for someone not involved in the production or consumption. For example, if I pay a doctor to give me a vaccination, the doctor is getting money and I am getting protection from a particular disease. However, other people are also benefiting. Because I am vaccinated, I will not get the disease, and therefore I will not spread it to someone who is unable to be vaccinated. So my choice to pay to be vaccinated helps me and my doctor, but it also has a positive spillover effect on other people. This is great, but externalities can also be negative. If I like driving a huge truck that is super fuel inefficient, I am paying an oil company a lot for gas. However, that economic activity has spillover effects, like creating pollution. So the oil company's decision to sell me a lot of gas and my decision to use a lot of gas contributes to climate change for the entire planet. This is a negative externality because my economic activity has consequences other people must deal with. Generally, the government's role is to try to maximize economic activity that creates positive externalities and regulate or tax activity that creates negative externalities, like how the government gives out small business loans, which helps encourage job creation. But it has regulations businesses must follow to minimize pollution to the environment. Regulations are not just for dealing with externalities. They may be intended to protect consumers, which is why there are laws regulating meat inspections and safety measures in cars. There are also public disclosure laws that require businesses to give consumers information, such as labeling on medications and fuel economy information on cars. Regulations may also be designed to protect workers. For example, it's cheaper for a business to give workers no safety equipment, but the government requires construction companies to ensure workers wear things like hard hats. So as you can see, the government creates regulations to protect people and the environment because in a system of capitalism, people and businesses are primarily self-interested, and their activities can inadvertently create problems for others. Another way the government supports capitalism is by encouraging economic development. Sometimes the government gives out tax credits that reduce the amount of taxes certain businesses owe. Sometimes the government gives out loans to help businesses, and sometimes the government bails out businesses on the brink of collapse. The government not only supports businesses, it also offers assistance to people in need in the form of various welfare programs. As we've seen in other videos, capitalism is a system that is prone to periods of boom and bust, and it is a system that fosters inequality. Therefore, there are people left at the bottom end of the economic ladder who have trouble providing for their needs. This means the government has rules to uplift workers, like minimum wage, and it has programs to aid those in need. For example, people with low incomes can qualify for programs such as Medicaid, SNAP benefits, housing assistance, and the Earned Income Tax Credit. There are other ways the government supports our system of capitalism, but that's all we have time for in this video. I hope you gained a foundation for understanding how the US's system of capitalism is built on individual freedom and government support. Goodbye.